I actually hit her in the back of the head, right where your spine is. Just one good hit, you can just knock the person out and then they'll be dead. And she was pretending to be dead for a while.
They say that to be evil, one must be profoundly immoral and wicked.
I would see that she was still breathing, and I was like, Johnny.
Sitting in an interrogation room across from two police detectives.
Knew this Nuna granddaughter accused of killing her grandparents inside their Gwinnett.
Her bandaged hands and her prison scrubs are the only sign that she's in big trouble.
She and another teenager are charged with murder.
That Cassandra Bjorge takes the crown as an evil teenager.
Tonight, we delve into a case that exposes the darkest depths of familial betrayal. It is a story so chilling, so filled with a profound lack of empathy, that it forces us to question the very nature of trust and love within a family.
I stopped going to Duluth in 2015.
Okay.
Because that was around the time where all the stuff was happening with my parents and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting scared going to school because my stepdad would literally come on campus looking around the whole campus just to find me.
This is the case of Cassandra Bjorge, a young woman who, at just 17 years old, orchestrated the brutal and senseless murder of her own grandparents, the very people who had opened their home and their hearts to her. What drove a teenager to conspire with her boyfriend to commit such an unspeakable act? What kind of simmering resentment and cold-hearted manipulation could lead to the horrific deaths of the very people who took her in and provided her with a home? This case is a horrifying journey into a mindset of profound malice. Prepare yourself as we peel back the layers to uncover the raw and disturbing truth behind a shocking double murder.
I haven't had a phone since December because my ex-boyfriend sold it. He told me, we went to the Mall of Georgia one day and then I lost it, and then he said, oh, you might have lost it at the Mall of Georgia, so.
Cassandra Bjorge lived in a suburban home with her grandparents, Richard and Sandra Bjorge, in San Diego, California. They had taken her in, providing her with a safe harbor, but it was far from a harmonious arrangement. Cassandra, by many accounts, was a troubled and rebellious teen who often clashed with her grandparents' rules and expectations. She saw their care not as an act of love, but as a form of confinement and a barrier to her freedom. According to investigators, Cassandra resented her grandparents' authority and felt deeply confined by their household. This simmering tension and festering anger were a volatile and dangerous ingredient in her life, waiting for an accelerant to ignite into something truly destructive. That accelerant arrived in the form of Johnny Ryder, a 24-year-old man who became Cassandra's boyfriend. Their relationship was described as intense and all-consuming, and it quickly became consumed by Cassandra's grievances against her grandparents.
We were just all over the place, Bailey. We were just trying to find something to do.
So I guess when do you decide to go back to your grandparents' house in the middle of the night?
She painted a picture of herself as a helpless victim, effectively manipulating Ryder into sharing her deep-seated animosity and eventually her chilling and murderous intent.
I mean, do you feel bad about what happened? Do you think she deserves what happened?
I feel terrible. I feel like the worst person on the planet. I just wanted to get away from all of that, I was so tired of dealing with my family.
The couple's bond was sealed not by affection, but by a shared plan to eliminate Cassandra's family members. In their twisted reality, the grandparents were not loved ones, but obstacles to be removed.
And then I asked them, are you afraid to die? And he said, no. And he asked me, he was like, would you kill your grandparents? I thought them,
The resentment festered, turning into a dark fantasy that Cassandra began to vocalize to Ryder in frightening detail. She wanted her grandparents gone. This wasn't just idle teenage rebellion or empty threats. It was a calculated desire for freedom, and more importantly, for access to their money and their home.
It was like a couple days after, like 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it wasn't my idea at first.
Mm-hmm.
He first asked me, "Are you afraid to die?"
Mm-hmm.
And I said no.
The plan, shockingly, was not merely fantasized about, but put into cold, deliberate motion. Cassandra convinced Ryder to commit the unthinkable, to murder Richard and Sandra Bjorge.
He just did that. He just decided to do that. He didn't tell me. I just watched him and I was just like, okay.
The chosen weapon for this horrifying act of violence, a tire iron. What's particularly chilling in this case is the apparent lack of remorse in the planning stages.
And then Johnny asked me to go get some knives. So I got some knives from downstairs in the kitchen, and I got 3 like, big butcher knives.
This wasn't a crime of sudden rage or a moment of passion, but a calculated and cold-blooded conspiracy. It was a plan meticulously crafted by a young woman with a chillingly detached mindset.
When you guys were at the park, and you were talking about kind of the plan, and you were talking about maybe getting out of town and stuff like that, starting your new life, starting over and whatnot.
Yeah.
How come you guys did stay?
The reason why we stayed in town was because the plan was we were going to get both of our families.
On the night of November 12th, 2011, Cassandra and Ryder put their horrific plan into action. After Richard Bjorge returned home from a dinner, Ryder hid and then attacked him in the garage with a tire iron, striking him repeatedly. The violence was swift and brutal, a sudden and shocking end for a man who had provided so much for his granddaughter.
Me over here thinking I lost it, and then I found out that he just sold my phone. So I was like...
Did you do some karate chops on him or anything? Or
well,
kick his butt?
he already went to jail before I could do anything.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Sandra Bjorge, hearing the commotion, came out to investigate. She too was attacked by Ryder, beaten with the same tire iron. But the brutality, horrifying as it was, didn't end there. The motive for their crime was not just murder, but also ensuring they could carry out their plan with no interference.
When you guys met at the park, did he ever go over the actual plan on how you guys would do it or anything like that? Or
I was already figuring that I had a warrant or something that already violated probation.
After the initial assault, the couple moved Sandra's body into a bathroom. In a grotesque and cruel attempt to silence her, they used duct tape to cover her mouth and face. Both Richard and Sandra were left to die in their own home, in a crime committed by the very people they had trusted most.
We started out with, what time should we go over to the house? How are we gonna do this? What materials do we need to, do this?
It was an act of unthinkable evil committed for selfish gain. What happened next is perhaps even more disturbing and unsettling than the murders themselves. Cassandra Bjorge and Johnny Ryder did not flee the scene in a panic. Instead, they continued to live in the house for days, with the bodies of Richard and Sandra Bjorge still lying upstairs. During this time, the couple went about their daily lives as if nothing had happened.
We just stayed outside for a little bit longer just to, wait. And then I already had the keys to my house.
They used the Bjorge's credit cards to go shopping. They ate out at restaurants, and they completely detached themselves from the gravity of their actions. They bought food, clothes, and even celebrated, all while the victims lay just rooms away. A chilling display of profound sociopathy.
Then that's why we went over to Johnny's house, and we attacked his sister and her boyfriend. He wanted to kill his family.
Okay.
This period highlights a chilling lack of empathy and a profound disconnect from reality. The couple seemed to operate under the assumption that they had successfully erased their crime and could simply carry on with their lives. The house that was once a symbol of love became a symbol of betrayal and a tomb.
And then that plan, just going over to his house, kind of just it didn't work out at all. No one knew. I told everyone that my grandparents left on vacation.
Did you text anyone on Grandma's phone?
Yes.
Pretending to be Grandma?
Yes.
The couple's depravity wasn't limited to Cassandra's grandparents. It was revealed that they had discussed extending their murder spree to Johnny Ryder's family, a horrifying testament to the depths of their twisted bond and a cold-blooded desire for more freedom and more money. They believed they could get away with it again.
Then that's why we went over to Johnny's house and we attacked his sister and her boyfriend. He wanted to kill his family.
Okay.
The absence of Richard and Sandra Bjorge eventually raised suspicions among their family and friends. Family members and neighbors grew increasingly concerned when they couldn't reach the couple, leading to a welfare check by police. On November 16, 2011, 4 days after the murders, police discovered the bodies of Richard and Sandra Bjorge in their home.
You gotta take a look at that. That's you and him, right? Is that at your grandparents' house? It sure looks like the living room of your grandparents' house.
How would that be possible?
Who's taking that?
That couldn't be at my grandparents' house.
The horrific scene confirmed the worst fears of the family and confirmed that a truly evil act had been committed by the very person they trusted.
But once lying and stuff like that starts, I have a problem. I believe that there were people at that house. I'll be straight up, dude. We heard about a conversation that took place inside there where someone was bitching about the smell.
Cassandra Bjorge was quickly identified as a prime suspect in the murders. The interrogation footage, parts of which you're seeing now, provides a disturbing window into her psyche. Her responses often lacked genuine emotion.
He got married to like this crazy bitch, and then now she's like saying that I'm stalking her when I've only met the girl like twice.
Painting a picture of a calculated individual who had no remorse for her actions. She described the events of that night with an unsettling clarity, almost as if she were talking about a movie scene.
And then you guys went back to the house, and then did you do anything to the doors, or?
Johnny did. He glued the doors.
Okay.
He went in my garage and found
Her chilling attempts to shift blame or minimize her involvement were chillingly apparent, or she seemed more concerned about the consequences to herself than to the lives she had taken. Both Cassandra Bjorge and Johnny Ryder were eventually arrested and charged with the murders. The evidence against them, including their own admissions during interrogation and irrefutable forensics, was overwhelming.
And what was the point of that is what?
He just did that. He just decided to do that. He didn't tell me. I just watched him and I was just like, okay, like you got it.
There was no doubt they were responsible for the heinous crime. Cassandra Bjorge, though a minor at the time of the crime, was tried as an adult due to the extreme nature of her crimes. She was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder. Her manipulation, her active participation, and her chilling lack of remorse led to her sentencing to life in prison. Her actions proved that true evil is not defined by age, but by one's capacity for cold-blooded cruelty.
Yeah, it was kind of both. We were kind of like in and out of the house for a couple days. It was just me and him. We didn't tell anyone. I mean, I told my friends that my grandparents.
The case of Cassandra Bjorge is a stark and painful reminder of the depths of human cruelty, especially when fueled by resentment and manipulation.
I mean, I would just tell people, like, I would just be like, hey, you know, like, I have, like, the free crib, but I wouldn't have people come over. You know, I'd just be like, if y'all are trying to chill, I'll come meet up.
It forces us to confront the reality that true evil can reside even within the most unexpected places. Within a family, within a child entrusted to the care of her loving grandparents. The trust they placed in her was repaid with the ultimate betrayal.
What about Johnny? Did Johnny have to change clothes?
Yes.
What did you guys do with those clothes?
We put them in a trash bag, and I think we left the trash bag in my grandpa's car.
Okay.
With the knives.
The tragic deaths of Richard and Sandra Bjorge serve as a grave warning about the insidious nature of unresolved conflict and the horrifying consequences of unchecked malice. Thank you for joining us on The Female Criminal. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more raw and honest true crime stories, and hit the notification bell. We'll see you in the next one.